I should be writing number 507. This was the final crowdcast available to the entire audience. After this, the hour-long AMAs will only be available to Patreon supporters. Patreon.com/MightyMur.
But I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
Wow, that was awful. And the quality's the same. Oh my god, I am so sorry, guys. This is not what I was hoping for. Regardless, we're here to talk. And oh good, I'm glad the audio's clear, Will. Yay. I am trying a new mic, so that helps. Appreciate it. So the mess is blurred. That's kind of cool. Let's go back to the fact of what you guys were talking about. Thank you, Jason. The sort of paying yourself in the writing. I am not sponsored by You Need a Budget, YNAB, but I started using it in February, and it is about as life-changing as they say it is, because I've never been able to budget, ever. And I finally, through whatever magical wizardry they use, I can now. And what was really cool was I got a credit card bill. And because I knew how much I'd spent on my credit cards, because it tracks that, nothing was surprising. There was no like big thing that I'd forgotten about and then, oh God, where did that come from? No, I already knew how much. And so I believe what was going on was taking the money from a craft budget and putting it into a spending thing when you write, which is pretty cool. That is a different kind of accountability. I've been worried about using things like that, but as I told you guys, my Nintendo Switch is downstairs locked up on a timer, and it won't be free for another like 15 minutes. So I've discovered that if I lock it away, I'm more productive. So whatever works, really. At this stage, I'm just like, if I have to lock my stuff away, if I have to put money aside and pay myself to write, that's interesting, because it's less of a working towards a big reward at the end, and you get the little reward now. It's like a sticker, only it's $1. So you can say, I'm going to buy myself the Poe Dameron Lego X-Wing to pick something at random at the end of this project. Or you could say, this 500 words is getting me X number of dollars closer to the Poe Dameron X-Wing, to pick something at random. Jason says it kind of reminds me of parenting, except you're doing it to yourself. Yeah, pretty much. That's what I feel when I've got ADD, is like I don't know what to do first, and I need someone to tell me. And when you're an adult, you really don't want to have that feeling. It's not a prideful feeling. It's not a confident feeling, I should say. Yes, Brent is giving an allowance, yes. Oh, wow, Rachel has read homeschooling stuff and applied it without kids. So tell us a little bit more about that, because I would love to hear what the homeschooling does. And I'm sure any parent in the chat would appreciate it, considering that we're all kind of homeschooling right now. I can't tell you how grateful I am that my daughter is 17, because if you have young kids, you have my sympathies big time. So yeah, it does sound a little bit like the magic spreadsheet. I do I'm not still on it, but it was something I was using 7 years ago, I guess. A friend of mine programmed it. A friend of mine from my MFA program, Tony, programmed it, and it was very influential. It's very helped me write Ghost Train to New Orleans, for sure. I learned that I can write subconsciously as I'm falling asleep. It's not good at all. But if I'm writing and nodding off, my fingers will try to write whatever's going on in my brain. And it's not even like good weird that you can, say I'm, what's his face? Naked Lunch. That guy. David Lynch? Anyway, it's not even good to where you could, say your anus is typing a novel right now. William S. Burroughs, thank you. It was just weird word salad, I think. So Rachel follows up on the homeschool thing. Really like the unschooling philosophy. For kids, it's about self-directed learning, and it really helps with productivity and self-esteem as an adult. John Holt is a great writer. Oh, thank you, Will. Will had nice things to say about Ghost Train to New Orleans. All right, so what's really funny is that I was hoping this stream would be an incentive for people to join the Patreon and keep it up, and I'm really not selling it well at all. Oh boy. So let's turn to the chat. Is there anything you guys want me to talk about? The whole AMA thing? Thank you, Jason. I like it too. It's a lot of fun, even though I feel like I'm flailing around with a bucket on my head half the time. That might actually make it more entertaining. I don't know. Oh, yay, just joined Patreon partly for this. Oh, good. I need to keep it up and fix my video issues. That's the downside to having 15, 16 years in podcasting is I got the audio. Sometimes I'm sloppy, but I know how to fix the audio, but the video is just no idea. I'm learning that there are these things called ring lights, which apparently is ideal for streamers. I've just got a light up there. Patreon stretch goal. Murph flails around with a bucket on her head. How long would you want to watch that, Justin? Because it might be funny just passing through, but not as a whole thing. My mom is sad there won't be any more shambling books. They helped her get through a bad time. That is very wonderful to hear, Richard. I love doing the shambling series. I had plans for Orlando. Oh God, I've forgotten half of them now. Orlando was a big one because Disney would have really affected the personality of that city. I still want the shambling Netflix movie. Well, that ran out a while ago, unfortunately. They were a lot of fun to write, but the publisher didn't want anymore. But it's what Richard said really means a lot to me, because a lot of times when you write something light and entertaining, you've always got this, very likely somebody has said to you, when are you going to write something serious? When are you going to write something important? And, I'm like, I like writing this. I think I'm pretty good at it. It's fun for me. I read and write to escape. I don't like the heavy stuff. There are very few heavy things I like. Like N.K. Jemison's, the Broken Earth series. That was not light, and still devoured it. But mostly I like things that are adventurous and fun, and but it always makes me feel like someone out there is saying, when are you going to get serious about this? But when things happen like what Richard said, you remember that other people need escapism too. Other people need to laugh. And if you put your book in the hands of somebody who needs that, then it is important and it is serious. I am, it's Worldcon week, and I'm still trying. I found out I was lazy. I fully admit it. And if I don't get on this panel, it will be absolutely deserved. I was lazy and didn't look at all the panels that were available that I could be part of, but I saw that there's a Good Omens at 30 years old panel, and I was taken in my little wavy line time machine back to when I was 17, and my father had gotten me a book club membership to science fiction book club. I grew up in a tiny mountain town, no malls, no bookstores, obviously no internet, and when driving the 30 minutes to the neighboring town to go to their mall and their bookstore was huge. It was huge. And so when Good Omens arrived, it hit me at just the right time for me to be heavily inspired and believe people can do this. People can write books like this. And it really affected me and my path through life. And it means a lot to me. As an adult, I can find, some problems with it, but really it's hysterical. It taught me how to use omniscient point of view, which I've never actually used, but I can always point to the spot in Good Omens where the narrator switches to omniscient, and it's brilliant. Omniscient and head hopping. So, it taught me that I was also getting into Douglas Adams at the same time. So it taught me that the humor can be rather powerful. So that's why I don't feel so bad about writing funny stuff. I'm actually a little worried that my current work in progress is still too light. I'm trying to bring it down, but it if I bring it too far down, it's not me and not my voice. So we'll see how that goes. But murder in space and being chased and space station falling down all around you and breaches happening, and that's all. Not a lot of humor can be found in there, but I look for it still. Wow, Justin had 1 hour 30 to get to the nearest mall growing up. Respect. That I thought the 30-minute drive was just like forever, especially because it was through the mountains. So a lot of twists and turns makes it feel longer than 30 minutes. Yes, Bren, it was Walden Books where I was going. Throw in some brooding teens. What's funny, Jason, is I had a brooding teen in the first in the first version of it, and my editor did not like the brooding teen and his mother, how they fit in the story, and so they've been removed. It's so yeah, I can't. And I just realized, are you telling me to throw in the brooding teen for humor, or are you asking it for the darkness? Because that can go either way, honestly. Both. Okay. Thank you. But yeah, the book's coming along. I'm enjoying it. I've spent a lot of times working on the different connections. I love that about some of Agatha Christie's stuff, where a lot of people are connected. The movie Clue does that too, where almost everybody in the movie has at least two connections with other people. They just don't say it at first. And The brooding teen is a universal spice, says Todd, and the brooding teen must flow, says Jason. They're going off on a different trail than me. Yeah, I'm not putting the brooding teen back in. There's a college-age guy who dies pretty early. That's about as brooding teen as I get. I do have a flashback to where one of my adult characters was a brooding teen. So maybe that'll be enough for you. Who knows? College guys can brood too. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember. Question. Do you think Knives Out is a modern iteration of the Clue movie formula? Knives Out blew my freaking mind. If you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it for you, except to say that I kept going, why is this a murder mystery? You've told us like 20 minutes in who did it. And it was a murder mystery, and it blew my mind. So if you ever thought about seeing Knives Out, you definitely should. It turned a lot of the tropes on their heads. And yeah, I'm excited to see another one. Although it's the movie is more than Daniel Craig, but I assume if they do another one, it's just going to be Daniel Craig and not everybody else. But all the other characters were wonderful. The liberal family trying to show how woke they are to the woman of color who's the patriarch's nurse was squirmingly painful. And oh yeah, Ernest says, I love the concept from Knives Out that the character can literally not tell a lie. Yes, one of the characters vomits when she lies. So she can't tell a lie. And I kept thinking there were easier ways for her to get out of certain situations. Like you think by the time she was an adult, she could think of answering a question with a question or something else instead of, if I say yes, I'll vomit. If I say no, I betray somebody kind of thing. But it still was a really interesting format. Yeah, they told you the murderer, and they pointed out that one person could physically not lie about it. So they really give you a lot of information pretty early on. And it's still a murder mystery. Yes. The DVD is sitting downstairs all wrapped up because I'm giving it to somebody else for their birthday. And I keep thinking, oh, one watch won't hurt, right? She won't notice it's out of its plastic. But no, I can stream it. There are many other options if I really want to see it again. We are getting close to past 1. It is, and I'm 7% on my computer because I planned this out so well. Are there any other questions people have? Anything you want me to cover? If you are new to the stream, the video is something that I struggled greatly with that I'm still not happy with, so that's why it looks like this. And I'm inside because it's really freaking hot outside. It's like heat index of 106. I went out for a phone call in my yard this morning at 9:30, and it was already kind of sticky and uncomfortable. Yay, the South. Yeah, that's too hot. I know. That's why I'm inside. So if there aren't any more questions, I'll give you guys a little bit of time. I'm even checking the ask a question area at the bottom because I forget that. Here it's only 96, says Rachel. Well, here it is technically, Carrot has to update. Technically 92, but I don't know what the heat index is. Hot. It's hot. It's hot. Don't go outside. Yes. So balmy. That's the American South for you. Yes. Muggy. Muggy. Mosquitoes. Why do I live here? There are other reasons. So Do I think it's likely worth it for a newbie writer to sign up for Virtual Con Zealand? That is an interesting question that I have not really thought about. I have found Worldcon to be good for my career. Let's face it, the only marginalized part of me is I'm a woman. I know people of color, I know queer people who have said that Worldcon was not the best experience for them. But for me, I found it useful to my career. That is in part because a lot of pros go, and so you can run into them for coffee or drinks or just saying hi after the panels. I don't know how easy that's going to be here at the virtual convention. I know sometimes they'll have breakout rooms, but I don't know a lot about that. There are coffee clutches. I know because I'm having one. So that's a way you can sign up to talk to an editor or an agent or a writer. I don't know. I guess if you've got the money and you're interested, it probably is it probably is worth it. Actually, I'm not sure. Can you tell me offhand if it's any cheaper now that it's virtual? Because I'm not sure about that. I paid my regular thing like a while ago. It's 300 New Zealand dollars. So if you've got it, maybe. But I think right now, hell, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking out loud here. It would be good for you because Worldcon is a really good place for pros or wannabe pros. But right now, because of global pandemic, we are in a position where you can go to any con you want if they're having it. Any of them. Think about that. You can go to any freaking con you want. So if you don't want to spend, have you been to a convention before? Have you been to a virtual convention before? Because if you haven't been to a convention before, I don't know if I'd spend the money to go to Worldcon if it's virtual. I am guest of honor at Mile High Con in October. Was really looking forward to that, but it's going to be virtual. So really, things are terrible right now, but we can take advantage of things like that. You can go to any con you want. So just think about what you would go to if you had the travel money and not a fear of getting sick and dying. And see if that fits your budget a little better. So yeah, that's where I'm thinking, because you're not limited at this point. And I don't know how many of these cons are going to continue virtual, having a virtual element to it after all of this is fixed. So I guess take advantage of it. Go to any con you want. There are cheaper ones than Worldcon. Some of them, unfortunately, are just postponing, because I recommend everybody go to Confusion in Detroit in January. And from what I understand, they've just put it off a year. There will be and this is anecdotal. If things have changed or you've heard something else, I apologize. But I heard that they're not doing it 2021. They're just moving it to 2022. But yeah. Oh, we haven't asked a question. You recommend I restrain myself from editing my work when I'm transferring it from analog medium to the computer? That is a good question. I would say it depends on how much distance you have from it. If you write it all out and then you start putting it into the computer, I'd say put it in as is. If you get any good ideas, jot them down, but try to keep your opinions as low as possible, because if it's too fresh, you're not going to know, you're not going to know what to do. It's too personal. If it's been like a week or something, or depending on how big it is, if it's a really long work, you'll want more than a week. But if you've had some distance from it and you can look at it a little bit more objectively, then that sounds like a perfect time to edit to me, because you have to write it and put it in the computer anyway, so you might as well polish it up as it goes in. And that looks like it's it for questions. Thank you for making me think about that, Jess, because I hadn't thought about it that way before, and suddenly it occurred to me that you can go anywhere. Any virtual con, that is. I'm going to call this then. I apologize for all the technical difficulties. Thank you guys for staying with me and still being amused, whether the bucket on my head is real or virtual. And Patreon supporters, I'll see you here next week, I hope, 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. And maybe I'll have improved my video, hopefully. We are at mightymur@gmail.com. I don't know why I said we. I'm not royalty. Murverse.com is my website. And Twitter and Twitch and Crowdcast are all at Mighty Mur. And Patreon is patreon.com/mightymur as well. So thank you all for coming. I think I had my largest group for by far the most awkward episode, which fits. Yeah. But thank you all, guys. And I will see you around next week. Take care. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. And hug your loved ones if you can. Or a virtual hug. Whatever. Things are bad. Let's make it better.
Remember, you can support the show at patreon.com/mightymur. I should be writing theme music provided by John Anelio. You can find more about him at johnanelio.com. This podcast is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike license.
The fact that Doctor Who is on TV